Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Larry Jones TV today. All right, listen, we are going to play the president as he made the announcement that the government is fully open, and then we'll discuss right after then.
How good government can be and how bad government can be if people don't know what they're doing. For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, as well as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and numerous other great Republican leaders and congressmen and senators who are here, who frankly spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid, and the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster, because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't. Today we had the highest stock market price ever in all of the different markets. We set a record. It's the 48th time in the 9 months that I've been in office that we had this record set. So think of that, 48 times we had a record set. But today is the highest of them all. We're going to break new grounds. Nobody would have thought. I have with us not only the great political leaders, but the great business leaders of our country. They're standing right behind me and right really alongside of me. And if we would have told them a year ago that we'd be having stock prices this high, none of them, in fact, I just asked them that question, none of them would have believed it. And that inures to jobs and, very importantly, to 401ks, which have also set a record today, a record high for the people that have 401ks. And also, I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden, and we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago. And it's a very inclusive report, so I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that, and we believe in that company. I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness, but unfortunately the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer too. And the Democrats admitted, they said, well, no, we finally have a point. Even though people have to suffer, we finally have a point, and that didn't work out too well for them. But they really went out and they could appease the fringe benefits of their far-left base, but that didn't work out because now their far-left base is angrier than ever before. We actually elected a mayor of New York City who happens to be a communist. When was that going to happen? Remember, I said all the time during my campaign, we will never be a socialist country, and that's right. We turned out to have a communist in New York City, and if you look at his views, those are the views of a communist, not a socialist. So this is no way to run a country. I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again, end the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again. So with my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And speaking of tax cuts, our great, big, beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and very importantly, no tax on overtime. You work overtime, there's no tax. That's among the things that add up to the biggest tax cut in history. One other thing, you hear about rich people with deductions. Well, when you buy your car and you borrow money, you're allowed to now deduct the interest on that loan. So you can take that interest deduction and what you can take is that interest payment and deduct it for income tax purposes. That's a tremendous tax cut right there. But it all includes fixing the healthcare system that Democrats broke with the disaster known as Obamacare. Obamacare was a disaster from day one. It's done nothing but go up. And if you remember President Barack Hussein Obama, when he came up with this crazy idea, he said everything's going to be great. Rates are going to go down. Payments are going to go down. Everything's going to go down. It went the exact opposite, with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own healthcare, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. Their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you'll go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with health care. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved. and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
So there you have it. They took one question, and that was it. All right. There's a lot to unpack right there, good people. A whole lot to unpack. But I just want to know just one thing. For those of you that have your 401ks, is it at an all-time high? I'm just asking for a friend. I just want to know. All right. So now we're going to go through the blame game from both parties, right? The truth be told, this should have been about signing. I'm just saying, I don't care if that was Obama doing the same thing, or I don't care if it was Biden or whoever, Bush or whoever doing the same thing. Clearly, you could see he was upset. And the reason why I believe he was on defense is because he was taking flack for this government shutdown. At the end of the day, he's right about these insurance companies and these CEOs, but he should have also put in politicians and our government, right? Our senators, the people that represent us in the Senate and the House and the government, because the people that work for the government, over 1 million people, were not getting paid, right? So let's go down. Let's just go down the trail here. 43 days, according to the president, $1.5 trillion this fiasco of a shutdown was. Mind you, Google when was the last shutdown and who was president. 20,000 flights canceled or delayed. No SNAP benefits. Yes, there's freeloaders on there, but there's also people that need it, okay? And it's a temporary thing for them until they get back on their feet. That's what it was made for. It wasn't SNAP and EBT cards and all of that. It's not a lifestyle. It's something for it to help you get on your feet. Over 1 million unpaid government workers, all right? Laid off, furloughed, all of this, right? He said the cost of Thanksgiving is lower by 25%. We gonna fact check everything. We don't care who says it, all right? Whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, we gonna check. We want affordable health care. What he said about the health care, I 100% stand behind that because he is right. They are making record-breaking profits, but our plans are going up. And the problem is, good people, let's just call it what it is. All right, I talked to my doctor. The rollout of the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, was horrendous, and it was horrible. There was a lot of problems with it if you talk to anybody that has to process it and the doctors. I talked to Democratic voting doctors who hated it. The problem is the Republicans have not come up with anything better yet. And these are some of the problems and issues. As a matter of fact, their input is making it worse. So now we getting skyrocketing premiums. But theirs is fully paid by you and I. And that's what I have to say. All right. So that is all I have to say on this. I'm not going to string this one out. I wanted you guys to hear it, but it's going to be the blame game now. And there was 2 plays on both sides. Now the Dems are talking about the Epstein file, which we should have been had that, right? That's what the big news for the Democrats on today, right? Just think about that on today. and then the president having the CEOs of these companies, right? These Fortune 500 companies at his office today. So they both are playing. It's the blame game right now. And the truth be told, they're both to blame. And I told you guys, and I'll share with you guys this. When you want change, put pressure on the people that you voted for. And that's what you just saw that man defiant right there, the president of the United States. He was feeling some pressure from his own party. And that's what makes change happen. That's why the government is reopening and people can get back. Our TSA workers can get back and make it safe. Our air traffic controllers can get back. Our government workers can get back. It's so many things that is just stagnated. Even the government data, we haven't had CPI. We didn't know the jobs. All of that was being held up because the government was not doing their job. And then the Senate, they were on the House. They were on over 40 days. They were on recess. Being paid by you and I, they were on recess over 40 days. I don't know exactly how long it was, but it was over 40 days. And the truth be told, let's take a look. I don't think that this is going to do too much for the markets at this point. I really don't think it's going to do too much for the markets. I expect it to be green, but I think that Monday's run up was the big run up. Here we go. Now, this is the pre-markets, okay? So we got some positive movement. The Dow was up another 100 points, and that's what he was talking about. The Dow for the first time hit 48, and S&P is up, not by much, and the NASDAQ futures are up by 51. They were down when I looked at them before closing bell. The Dow hit up all-time record highs. And let's check crypto. Crypto is not moving. Crypto is not happy with it. Okay, I moved a little bit. Crypto moved a little bit in the last hour. Back down flat. See that? Spoke too soon. Nothing. Now, XRP likes it. You see some things are coming up. So XRP over the last 24 hours came up, and today XRP came up 2.8. All right. But that was because of the ETF. That's what that was for XRP. So, guys, tell me what you think about this. Hopefully the TSA and because of the air traffic controllers, listen, I knew for a fact that this was not going to last through the holidays because you guys would have had pitchforks outside of your elected official's office. I saw the news reports where people yelling at their constituencies. And this is what makes things happen. Okay. And I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm just going to keep saying it. We need a third party. We don't need to be caught up in this two-party system. It's cray-cray. And we need to say from now on, if the government shuts down, you don't get paid, period. You don't get paid. None of you guys get paid from our money. Not only do you not get paid, you lose the ability to use your credit card, which we're paying for. You lose your health care and you lose your pay the day the shutdown happens. And you know what'll happen? Should I say, what won't happen? There'll never be another government shutdown. That's what I believe. Tell me what you believe. All right, good people. Hey, I'm not going to play that long exit, the musical exit tonight. I just wanted to come in. This has been a special report. Larry Jones TV Live. We'll see you later. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get them all, right? I'm going to bed now. Hopefully we wake up. Skies are blue. The markets are green, and you and I are happy, all right? We'll see you tomorrow. Well, we'll see you on Stock Up You, all right? Not Stock Up You. You guys know it's late. I'll see you on Stock up with Larry Jones. See, it's late. I just ran down here and piped things up so I can let you guys know what was going on. All right, love you guys for real though. Peace.